Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for bench press day. But let me get right into this. Today, strength was not at 100% of where it has been. I went to do these, and I had been getting 8 reps the last couple times I've done 315. I was really happy with Monday's workout. This is Thursday. It just felt when I got to around rep 7, I felt like I probably shouldn't go for an 8th rep, right? Pretty happy with the work, plenty of good pauses in here. Everything felt good. I'll get a great training response from this because, again, keep in mind, I've only recently even been repping this much weight after, again, a lot of issues with shoulders, building my bench back up. So all in all, this is a lot of workload. Also decided I really do need to try to squeeze in a third set. Ideally I'd like 3 sets of benching, 3 sets of rows in each one of the upper body workouts after the main work, if I can handle it, recover from it. So that's what I did. And I worked on kind of getting pretty good pauses on most of this, especially near the end, trying to get longer pauses as I got near the end. Sometimes I get a little rushed, and it's hard to remember to do this, but trying to minimize touch and go. But definitely as I get further in, I start trying to really pause those final reps. And that's where we get a lot of the benefit from the pausing, is once we're fatigued and then we're really forcing that work in the lengthened position. But I ended up doing 245 for 2 sets of 10, and then I went down to 225 because I was getting really fatigued and ended up doing 12. Rows, I stuck with this same weight I've been using, 115 pounds. Again, this is challenging for me. I don't feel like I could really handle much more than this. If I do, I'm definitely going to lose reps. But these 10 rep sets are very, very, very difficult, meaning they're very close to failure. I think we're close enough to count it as 1 rep in reserve, some of these 0. So if I can get 3 sets of this twice a week, we're getting some good back work in, some good grip work. And I think this is part of what I need to do for grip. Now that I've switched over to doing my deadlifting with the power bar, I may not need to go as crazy on grip work, but it needs to be present. So I always want to do some sort of curl now with grip, and I think if I can just push the volume a little bit on those dumbbell rows, those are going to do a lot for me. So I'm hoping that combination, if I'm just consistent with it and I progress, right? The main thing is I've got to get stronger on that rowing, and I have to get stronger on the power curls. And I think that'll give me a lot of grip training, along with, again, doing the deadlifting with the power bar. It works my grip harder, right? Now, the second set, I was a lot happier with the pauses, but it was also very fatiguing, very fatiguing. So that's why I dropped down to the 225. But when I did the 225 and I got 12, the chest pump was extremely high. I felt a huge amount of fatigue in my pecs. Normally, I start to feel some tricep as I get into some of these work sets, and I've been feeling the triceps a lot on the top set. But on these, especially that last one, I felt that deep burn in my chest. So keeping those reps a little higher, trying to focus a little bit on pausing, but again, keeping the reps real high, real close to limit sets, really, really hammering my chest. And then I can come in and just focus on triceps. Now, one of the things I've also noticed is I've been having tricep DOMs the last week. Now that I've done the higher rep Skullcrushers, doing a little bit of volume with those, now that I've worked on back in, definitely getting some tricep DOMs. Not normal for me. Indicative of some possible recovery. So maybe I'm looking at the work capacity side and saying maybe I don't need to do the high rep band press downs all the time. Maybe do them in phases, maybe work them in occasionally, but if my elbows are holding up really well, I'm okay. Right? But this set right here, this was like the money set. I felt like the chest activation, especially after having done 3 sets of heavier bench, just to do this pump work, to knock out 12 with the 225, after I've built up so much fatigue, I got a very, very good chest pump. And it's important in this context, is I need the chest work, right? I have to have it. I've got to get my pecs to continue to grow. I need my pecs and my triceps to grow. The only way my bench is going up, right? And I feel like I got it there. Now that is probably the most workload I've done on bench in a single workout on the straight flat bench. We got 4 quality sets. Again, started with that top set and then worked down, but you lose strength real quick after that top set, right? because I felt like I left a rep or so in reserve on that second set, but that third set, which was the second one with 225, didn't have much in the tank. I felt like it was about my last rep, especially after the pause, probably 0 reps in reserve. So again, that final pump set, my chest was just burning. We got a lot of chest work there. Then I can come in and just focus on triceps. I went up a little bit on these because I managed to get some 15s last time. So I'm like, oh, let me go up 5 pounds on this. And I managed to do 12s on all 3 sets, and they were getting very, very challenging near the end, especially as I got right to the last rep or two. I tried to really stretch it as far as I could towards the face. Again, feeling that whole area where I've been getting the DOMs a little bit. So again, one reason I probably need to watch the band press downs. Need to make sure that's recovering, but it's the long head. And I've really noticed it this week on the right side more than the left. Last week it was kind of the left. This week it's really the right side, and it was still hurting when I got up. So again, that tricep work is high. And I want to get stronger at the Skullcrushers now that my elbows are really healthy. I feel like I can do it as long as I load them very, very carefully. And make sure that all the reps stay above 10. In other words, don't ever add weight till I can really, really hammer out reps. Like here, maybe questionable that I'd go up another 5. I don't think that I will because I still only got 12s. Right? See if we can get more than 12, and then it's time to bump it each time. But ideally, I'd like to stay above 10 and just work on, again, progressive overload, but getting good volume, good quality length and position work. I need to bring those triceps up, right? But we don't want to go too heavy and get the reps too low because the elbow tendons can't handle it. And then I'm forced to go back into long phases of the band work again. So again, it's going to be a little bit of a balancing act. And if I have to, I may rotate in some JM presses. Right, but the Skullcrushers bring so much to the table. And then I did my power curls back to this heaviest weight I've done. Just knocked out my 3 sets of 10. Again, we get a lot of upper back work, all that bicep work, all the grip training. And I'm doing these with the power bar now instead of that thinner deadlift bar I've been keeping in there. Again, probably a little better for grip because I need the grip to come up and I need to get all those benefits. But I feel like these 4 exercises, these can definitely be a big staple. They can be a staple, getting that bench up and getting also accessory for the deadlift. But again, the goal, get to that 405 bench. Considering I'm weighing just a little over 220, I'm hovering 223 some days, sometimes as much as 226. But at least 1 or 2 days a week, I'm stepping on the scale at 223. So that's what I'm calling it as my weight, just for weigh-in purposes. It means I could easily make the 220 anytime I want without doing any sort of real serious water cut. But again, the goal is to get to that 405 bench. But we've got to gain muscle. All of this is to get thicker and still recover from all of it. So we're looking at what's the minimum dose that I need to continue to make progress and not overtrain. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.